In a matter of seconds, $750,000 worth of cards were snatched up at Fanatics Fest by a couple of celebrities. Are these types of big deals great for the hobby, or is this just a lot of hype without much substance? And were these deals good or bad ones to begin with? We're gonna debate now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another Cards on the Table. Teapot Doug. It's been nice resting up for a few days here from Fanatics Fest. We were all there. Absolutely incredible experience, but also, a lot going on that week. We're going to talk about a little bit about that today, but how are you guys feeling about the amount of money that was dropped all over the show floor at Fanatics Fest? It felt like there were big deals happening all around, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of money flowing there. No doubt about that.
There was a lot of money flowing. And two of the most prominent examples of the weekend was a $500,000 sale and a $250,000 sale that were both agreed to on the spot with like seconds of notice. This was wild. I got to witness both of these occurring. So the $500,000 sale, this was the Washington Commanders owner, Josh Harris, bought Jaden Daniels, one of his best cards ever, his Prism Black Finite 1-of-1 card off of Roth Cards, Josh Roth, a well-known card dealer, for $500,000. Sports Card Taxi also owned part of that card. And the way it went down, guys, I was there. I saw, I was there when all this started to go on. It was funny because I was in line to go into the Topps trade night. And I actually happened to line up right next to Josh Roth. And he had his Jaden Daniels cards because Jaden Daniels was inside trade night. He was doing an appearance. And Roth said, I really want to show Jaden this card and try to get a photo of him with it. So he didn't even know if he was going to get the opportunity to approach Jaden, show Jaden the card, anything like that. None of this was rehearsed. None of this was scripted. He had the 1-of-1 black, which was kind of almost his personal PC card.
He's got several of those.
Yeah, he loves Washington. He loves Jaden Daniels. He does a lot of flipping, but the Commanders cards he kind of likes keeping, right? This was, the Jaden Daniels 1-of-1 Prism Black Finite, one of the greatest cards ever of Jaden Daniels, BGS 9.5. And he walks into the room, and Jaden Daniels is up front, and the Washington Commanders owner is up front in the room, Josh Harris. And literally, right when he walks in the room, Josh Harris goes, who's got the best Jaden Daniels card in the room? We want to buy it. We want to buy it. And the timing on it was nuts. It was serendipitous, and it truly was not planned. I was there. I saw this. This was all just a wild coincidence that this happened. So Roth went running to the front of the room, and he said, yeah, I got it. And there were other people who were coming up and who were showing color blasts, downtowns, Prism silvers, and then, of course, Roth runs up with his Black Finite 1-of-1. And so the Commanders owner says, I want to buy that card right now. How much? And Roth, I talked to him later about this. He says he's absolutely stunned, never expecting to sell this, never expecting to offer. So he goes, $2 million. and the guy's like, no, that's nuts, And then Mike Mahan, the CEO of Fanatics Collectibles, goes, that's like a $500,000 card. Would you sell it for $500,000? And Roth is like, and then the Commanders owner's like, I'll buy it for $500,000 right now. And Roth is like, deal. Shakes his hand, done deal. Literally in a matter of seconds, sells the card for $500,000. I don't know exactly how well he did on it. I know he did really well on it. That card, honestly, probably not worth $500,000 if it were to go to, public auction. But nonetheless, huge sale. It is a huge card. Thrilled for him. Then at the closing Fanatics games, Tom Brady wins the $1 million first place prize, of course. The school teacher
of course
wins the third place prize. Matt Denish, 39-year-old school teacher, came in third place in the games, which is extremely impressive. He beat out a ton of prominent athletes. He beat Jaden Daniels. He beat Joe Burrow. He beat Travis Hunter was in there. A bunch of that. Kevin Durant was playing. He beat all those guys. Came in third, and so he won for third place a 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James Gold Refractor BGS 9.5, one of my personal favorite cards. And Brady says, I'll take 250,000 of my million and buy that card off you right now if you sell it to me. Matt says, done. Handshake done. Brady buys that. Two massive deals. They go down in a matter of seconds. Guys, what do you think about these purchases? And does this elevate the hobby overall, or is this type of stuff more hype than real? What do you think, T-Bot? I'm going to start with you.
I mean, the Jaden Daniels, first, congrats to Josh Roth. That's insane. I don't think that card's worth $500,000, but it also goes to show you that if you get the right person with the right deep pockets, you can make those transactions happen. We've talked about this a lot recently after the Skeens debut patch sale and Dick's and other corporations getting into it. And now this is just another example of that, of somebody just saying, I just got to have that card. I want the deal done right now. But just to put some stuff in perspective, Lamar Jackson's Black Finite Prism 1 of 1 sold for just under $70,000 about 16 months ago, January of 2024. Trevor Lawrence, 70, or I'll come back to him. He did 150,000. Back in 2020, interesting because these things can pay off. Mahomes did 76,000 in 2020 for his. Justin Fields, 90,000. Scrolling up, Bo Nix and Drake May, both recently in May and April respectively, did 98 and 110,000. Caleb Williams, 122,000. Jalen Hurts, 144,000. Trevor Lawrence, 150,000.
Yeah.
So 500,000 for this card.
It's a lot.
For a quarterback who had one really good year. I don't think we've seen CJ Stroud's sell, but he obviously had a really good rookie year 2 years ago. It's a lot of risk. It's a lot to put into it. So overall, it's just like, well, he found the right person, right place, right time. Good for him. And it is good eyes on the hobby, I guess, overall. The other thing is with him buying the LeBron Gold Refractor, like I would have sold that card in a heartbeat too. I mean, that guy's a teacher. Like he's an everyday man just out there, competing. By the way, you didn't mention Justin Gaethje got second. I'm a big Gaethje fan, so congrats to him. But overall, I just think it was a fun exercise, like seeing athletes involved. And I know there's a lot of speculation, like was it scripted, was it not, different people walking up where. To be totally honest, I don't really care. Like either way, it's scripted or not, it's not like it was a fake transaction or fake things. If there was a little bit of setup involved just to make sure the thing could happen seamlessly, that doesn't really bother me. It's good eyes. It's good like theater. It's good to see these things and like these interactions. And I do think a lot of these athletes are legitimately really interested in cards or becoming more interested, and owners alike maybe.
Yeah, that's good points. Certainly good points on the value of the card. There was a $250,000 bounty for that card that was put out by Alexis Ohanian, the investor. Yeah. So, I don't think it's a $500,000 card, but clearly someone was willing to pay $250 for it. So, this guy's now willing to pay $500 for it. Yeah. So, but I think all great points there. Doug, what was your takeaway when you saw all of this go down?
It's kind of a unique thing, right? And my initial thought is, how much of this is just getting caught in the moment? Roth walks in, you've got Jaden Daniels right there. You've got Josh Harris right there. You've got Mike Mahan on the microphone telling you how much the card's worth and this huge swarm of people. You've got a lot of pressure on you to make this happen, to create this moment, right? So if he would have said a different number, a lower number, I'm curious of how, does Roth say, hold on, let's pull up comps, let's start talking about it. You can't do that in that situation.
It's like a snap thing.
Yeah.
He had to make a snap call just like that.
The Josh Harris had to make a snap offer, and, Roth had to make a snap decision. And I think both people are kind of persuaded to make it happen and have this moment occur. And I think about that a lot, and you can probably talk about this a little bit yourself. And I think about that as well, when it comes to the Brady thing, like, this teacher is being offered this card by Brady. Do you just tell Brady no? Like, is this done publicly on stage? You say, no thanks, Brady, sorry. Like, there's a moment there that you're a part of, and you want to make that happen, and I think there's some pressure involved there. I do think, both cards are probably an overpay. The Jaden Daniels certainly an overpay. It's going to go on display, I guess, in like the Commanders Stadium.
Cool.
So, that's
cool.
It will live there, and that'll be a cool thing. With the Brady card, I think the last comp on it was something like 200,000, so 250. Nice little.
The LeBron card, you mean?
What'd I say?
Oh, the card Brady bought.
Yeah,
right.
sorry, right.
Yeah.
The gold LeBron.
Was
the gold LeBron was like 200, and
yeah.
then he got 250 for it. So a nice little increase there. I wonder, if Brady was encouraged by Topps to make that offer, if maybe they even helped him pay for that to create that moment. That seems a little staged to me. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, my question is, you can speak to this. Do you ever feel pressure to make a deal you don't want to make just for the sake of the moment or the content or anything like that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. There is absolutely deals Like, so it's kind of an interesting thing, right? Like when we're doing our vlogs at card shows, I'll go to a card show for a day and I know like, hey, we're trying to get like 1 vlog or 2 vlogs, you know, out of this day of the card show, sometimes 3 vlogs in a day. And I'll be working on like a really big trade with somebody and we'll have been working on it for like an hour. And I'll be like, you know what, this is going to make great content for the vlog. And it's a really fun trade to have worked on. If we get down to the end of that trade and it's a big trade and I feel like, man, we're close.
And you guys have spent like an
but
hour.
we spent an hour on it. I don't 100% feel like I got the absolute best deal. I don't 100% feel perfect about this, but like, let's get this done. Like we worked on this for a long time. Let's shake hands. Let's have a good experience. Let's give the audience some payoff because by the way, the video would stink if it was then like, you know, an hour of negotiating a trade and then we just both walk away. It's like such a wah-wah, even though that happens sometimes, you know, in real life. But there's a little bit of that. Sure, there's a little bit of pressure in the moment. And all the deals that I do in all of my videos, they're all legit. Like they're all legit deals. So like when those trades get done, they get done. And we give the cards to each other, we give the money to each other, and it's done.
Everybody's going to remember this now. Who
I know
doesn't
they're
deal
gonna
with him on
negotiate.
camera?
They're
They're going to
gonna
get to the point where they're
purposely-
close, then go, I'm going to need another 1,000 cash.
Oh, I
You're
know.
going to purposely make every interaction like an hour long.
Shouldn't have even. Why do you have to ask me that
Just set
question,
yourself
Doug?
Got him.
I'm giving too much inside
Gotcha.
baseball here to everybody.
Yeah, we can do a deal after this if you want.
Yeah, no, you're right though, Doug. It's the moments, and there is a little bit of pressure in the moments. Like, yeah, you got someone walking up to your booth, or you're getting that offer, and it's like the moment and how do you react. But there were so many media and social media moments that came out of the Fanatics. Like I had friends who were non-sports fans who saw some of this stuff on social and were asking me about it, you know. And I think, look, the fact that you've now got, as you said, the Skeens card displayed in Pittsburgh publicly with a big thing. Now, hopefully, you're going to have this Jaden Daniels card apparently displayed at the Commander Stadium. Hopefully, this big thing. That's awesome. Like, the more cards that are out there and are seen by the public and that, it's just the more this is going to raise all of this. So I thought both of these sales were fantastic. And I hope Brady does something cool with the LeBron card. I'll probably go into a card vault store, or something like that. All right, guys, speaking about doing cool things, I want to talk more about Fanatics Fest in a minute. But I want to rip a couple of Arena Club slab packs. We're getting close to the National, so I'm actually going to cash out some of my packs, have them send it to me, have them send me the cards, I should say, not cash them out, but have them send me the cards to take them to the National. Let me go first today, guys. Let me go first, because this is, I want to see what I get, because this one might go to the National with me. I did a Emerald Baseball pack. Let's see what we rip here. The moment of anticipation.
Oh,
Boom!
Gold Ohtani.
Oh, to 10. PSA
50.
10 to 50. Gold wave to 50. PSA 10. There you go. That's good. I'm excited about that. That's
our second.
That is the perfect card to take to the National.
I hit an Ohtani, was that last week, 2 weeks ago? And you just hit an Ohtani?
That is the perfect card
Not
to
bad.
take to the National
Take
because that's going to
Ohtani.
be very liquid.
Yeah.
Gold Ohtani,
Yeah.
Dodgers uni.
Yeah.
Boom. Mission accomplished. Let's do Teapot. What
right.
did you rip, Teapot?
I ripped baseball as well.
Okay. All right, let's see what we get here.
Let's see.
You did an emerald baseball?
Yep, emerald
okay,
baseball.
Yep, here it comes up on the screen.
Ohtani. Ohtani, a rookie. To 9.
Yep, there you go.
That's
nice.
sweet.
Okay. All
I'll
right, there you
take.
go.
I'll take
Rookie-
more
rookie
Ohtani.
Ohtani. All right.
I'll take Ohtani.
I'm not going to get an Ohtani, I think.
Yeah, you did football,
I read
right?
football, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think you're safe without an Ohtani.
Yeah.
Let's see what Doug gets here.
I got a Kaboom. Is that no? It's Derrick Henry. I thought it was
Derrick
Lamar
Henry.
for a second. I saw
That's still
Ravens.
sick.
Derrick
Derrick
Henry,
Henry
9.
Kaboom. Yeah.
Derrick Henry Kaboom.
You want to talk about liquid cards
Liquid
at the
cards
National?
is Kaboom.
That's
You can't get more liquid.
that's
than that.
Unbelievably liquid card. You can request these from the Arena Club vault to be sent to you, or you can sell them right on Arena Club. They got their marketplace. You can weekly auctions taking place there. You can sell them right there. You can trade them on Arena Club's platform. And guys, you can grab these slab packs for 20% off if you're a first-time Arena Club user. Download the Arena Club app, and then it's promo code SCI. These SCI 20, I should say, because you want to use SCI 20 because that's the 20% off code. These slab packs are available all the time in the Arena Club app. Promo code SCI 20 for 20% off first purchases. All right, guys, let's talk about Fanatics Fest a little more big picture now, right? Like we just, we all got back from that earlier this week. We all spent, the whole weekend there. Some highlights. 125,000 plus attendees this year compared to 70,000 last year, which was the first time they ever had done it. 125,000 this year. So quite a big leap in attendance. That number, by the way, is right around what the National has done the last couple of years. So you now got attendance at Fanatics Fest and meeting or being right around the attendance numbers of the National. Saturday was a complete sellout at Fanatics Fest. It felt that way for sure. Obviously, tons of athlete stuff all around it, fan-focused attractions, a lot of live experiences, the exclusive product drops. All three of those products went berserk on the secondary market. People were flipping them at the show. Dealers did really well. I'll talk about Cards HQ's experience there in a minute. Overall, let me start with you, Teapot. This was you didn't go last year,
Correct.
so this was your first time.
Yeah.
Thoughts and impressions, takeaways from the show.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that stood out to me was how incredibly well organized and well staffed the whole event was. It was pretty seamless. Get in, get your badge, scan your badge for security, and like you go through and everything was really well laid out. They had an app to help you navigate and figure out where things were. And the overall layout, I thought, was very, very thoughtfully done and well distributed. The card show was throughout the middle, so you couldn't not find the card show, even if you weren't, you were new to cards. And then they just had all the different events spread out throughout. They had multiple stages where they were doing panels, and you could see athletes up on the big screen. So that made things very visible. So just in terms of like an event itself, I thought it was just incredibly well done. If you are just into cards and that's all you care about, and you're trying to decide, do I want to go to the National or to Fanatics Fest, I would go to the National if you're just into cards. But if you're into the experiences, photo ops, autographs, just athlete sightings and wanting to be a part of that, and you also want to take a trip to New York or do something along those lines, Fanatics Fest is very exciting. The whole time I was there, I couldn't help but think my oldest would love this. He would love to be there and just do all the different little athletic challenges they had and be a part of that energy. So if you have a young child who's into that type of stuff, it's like a slam dunk. So overall, you guys talked about this last year. It sets a bar that's very different from what the National is doing. I don't think, as some people have been reporting, that this somehow puts the National on notice. I don't think the National is going anywhere. I don't think that's what they're going for. Maybe they could look at it and take some notes and lessons on how to improve an event experience overall and make it organized, but I just think these are still two very distinct things, and now I feel very confident about that after having attended one myself.
Yeah, 100% agree with a lot of what you said. What about you, Doug? You agree, or do you have some different viewpoints on this?
No, that's accurate. These are two very, very different events. Fanatics Fest is my favorite event, though, and it's not even close. I said that after the very first one. It's just so much more fun than your average card show, with the card show element still existing, but so much more to do and so much more to experience. The attendance was super impressive this year, and you felt it immediately.
Yeah.
Friday this year compared to last year, immediately I was blown away by how many people were there, how hard it was to kind of move around at times, and I knew this was going to be a really well-attended event. They say that the last National set the record for card show attendance in the neighborhood of 100,000 people over 5 days. This did 125,000 over 3 days. So this was even bigger than that. Obviously not a card show, so I wouldn't really categorize that the same. But if you want to get a scope of how many people were there, think of National last year and then add a few more to that. But this is totally different. You've got so many different types of experiences to be had. Every time you turn a corner, there's another celebrity or another athlete. Turn the corner, I see Joe Burrow, I see CJ Stroud, Mark Wahlberg, Spike Lee, like they're all just on the floor. These aren't people that are on the stage or behind an autograph booth, totally inaccessible. They're walking around, they're among you. And it's just a wild experience to be able to have that. And then they did so much better with the cards this year, of course. The cards were kind of buried in the corner last year. Although they had fewer dealer tables this year, they had them in a more prominent position. And everybody I talked to had great things to say about how much busier they were and how many more sales they made and everything like that. The interest for cards was much higher this year than it was last year. It's really obvious the staff that's in charge of this has paid attention to feedback. They made improvements where they needed to this year compared to last. The venue itself, being in New York, you've got inside the Javits Center itself, you've got food courts, you've got food trucks outside, no issues with like lines for bathrooms or anything like that. Anything you can think of as far as how an event should be executed, they thought it out, and I thought this was the best hobby-related event that I've ever been to.
There were
this year.
two things that, like, from a feedback, the Wi-Fi was not good.
Wi-Fi still struggled.
Was still really,
It did struggle.
For the
it was
public,
terrible.
yes, but if
For
you
the
got the
public,
media Wi-Fi,
there was
Sure.
there was some special
Yeah.
secret Wi-Fi's that we got
Yeah.
access to, but
Yeah.
yes, it did struggle. Cell was bad.
That
Yeah.
struggled, and then like the first day, I mean, I had people walk up to me and just start like ranting at me about how angry they were having to wait for 2 hours in line for their Cactus Jack boxes that they already
Yeah.
paid for.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
was the
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
for as well organized as it was, that actually was like very confusing to me, because in the lower level they had all these like gated off like rows for autographs and things. They could have said, come down from 10 to 12, get in line, have your QR code as we approach you. Beep, here you go. Beep, here you go. Like, they could have gotten through, I don't care how many people. It could have been 125,000 people. They admitted them all into the show. You could have had that as part of your workflow as you're coming in. Hey, did you get a Cactus Jack box? Yes, I did. Beep, scan your badge. Here's your QR code. Here's your box. Keep moving. Like, go right in. So that's got to be tightened up. There were some people really upset about that because they already paid. They're like, why am I standing in line for this eternity to do this? So, but other than that, everything seemed to be really
Yeah.
tight.
Let me add one more thing, and that's kind of a shout out to security. I don't know about you guys,
Yeah.
but I heard of no issues whatsoever
Yeah.
from anybody even acting
There was a
up,
good security presence.
let alone any sort of theft or anything like that. There was hundreds of millions of dollars in that building, and I heard of no issues at all. Yeah.
The National needs to step up security. That is one thing I will say. Like, I felt much more peace of mind walking into this show, going through a metal detector, having my bag looked at, going through, a weapons detector, and going into the show.
And it didn't create lines.
It didn't create lines. They did it efficiently. They had it set up well. The National needs to do that. They really do. That's one piece of feedback I would absolutely give to the National. I'm giving it to them right now. They need to do that. They need to have a bag check. They need to have a metal detector system with people walking in. There's too much money on that show floor to, something some year could happen, and if it does, going to be real bad.
Yeah.
Going to be real bad. So, the Fanatics Fest was tighter in terms of that, for sure. A lot stood out to me from the show, but one stat in particular, Cards HQ, we did more sales at Fanatics Fest than we did at the National last year.
That's
That's
crazy.
insane.
Which is nuts. And I wouldn't say neither show were we like set up with like a huge selling presence because we actually do more buying than we do selling at these shows. But we had some showcases of stuff to sell at both. And we sold more at Fanatics Fest, which we were surprised about and weren't expecting. And so that was a really good sign. And I heard a lot of dealers say, man, I could not believe how much stuff I sold. Completely wiped out of all my inventory.
Yeah.
At Fanatics Fest. So it was a really good show from that perspective.
Yep.
Excited. Well, one particular moment that happened at Fanatics Fest was Kevin Durant on stage in a panel, finding out while he was on stage that he had gotten traded. So he finds this information out, supposedly. I mean, I don't know. You could think maybe he had some idea before he went on the stage. But he's on the stage. The news breaks while he's on the stage. He gets tipped off while he's on the stage. He reacts to it. And then, of course, Topps Now there to immediately create a Topps Now card of Kevin Durant on the stage the moment that he finds out that he was getting traded. So that is your newest Topps Now drop. It is, the card sold. The buying of the card sold yesterday. There's going to be a 1-of-1 auto chase that will include the inscription, New City, same sniper. Doug, was this moment worthy of a Topps Now card? Are you buying?
Well, the moment was crafted for this Topps Now card. That was 100% staged, but it doesn't seem to matter to a lot of people. A lot of, when that all happened, everybody had their phones out and they were recording it. Durant looked straight at the Topps camera to get the nice pose for the Topps Now card. That was all completely staged, but it created a couple of different viral moments. There were 2 or 3 videos I saw that just went nuts, and it was all about, Durant when he was on stage, Durant when he was just walking around the show floor and people talking to him, and his reactions to all of that. He handled it great, but, it is what it is. Like, this obviously wasn't brand new news to him. He had to have known this has been in the works for days, if not weeks, prepared to release this information at this exact time. But it worked really well. It was effective. A ton of people got to see this clip and got to see a little bit of Fanatics Fest just because of this one instance. So,
Yeah.
Good marketing.
Good marketing indeed. Teapot, your thoughts? Are you going to buy one of these cards, Teapot?
No. No, I don't really care about some guy sitting on a stage as like a sports card. It doesn't. Is it worthy of a Topps Now card? Sure. And if I were Topps, would I have made this a Topps Now card? Yes. Money printer, like instant people chasing these. the timing of it also with the Steph autos from Topps Now Olympics ending, and then all of a sudden here's the next big chase with the 1 of 1 with the inscription. If I were a Houston Rockets fan living in Texas and also a Texas Longhorns fan, like maybe there's some, sentimentality here to like he's coming home, so to speak, to us, where he started his college career in the Longhorn State. But I mean, overall, like these Topps Now cards are just funny sometimes. We see like them capitalizing on everything. Very lucrative for them. They've been very smart about putting these chases in there, and if you hit them, it's going to be a big payday. But it's a lottery ticket, so not unlike everything else. So I'm not a buyer on this one though, because I just don't care about the base card.
Fair enough. What do you guys think out there? Let us know in the YouTube comments. Are you a buyer on this Kevin Durant card? Let us know in the comments. All right, guys, final story. Changing gears a little bit. There is a signed Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer rookie card up at auction right now. Actually, the auction, by the time you're watching this, the auction would have ended. The auction is soon to be ending as we're recording this. $2 million current price. It only one bid because it started at $2 million, but it got a bid, so it will sell. That was the reserve, so it got a bid. It is a 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan PSA 9 with an auto grade of 10. From what I understand, this card is from the signing where Jordan signed the 6 cards that got 10 10s. This was one he signed that maybe formerly was a PSA 10, but then when PSA went to go back regraded, they graded it a 9.
Oh, wow.
That's what I believe went on here. So this is a 9-10. There are population of 5 of these 1986 Fleer Jordan cards with a grade of 9 and an auto grade of 10. There's population of 6 of cards that are a 10 with a 10 auto. So this is basically pop 5, 6 higher. However, no 9-10 or 10-10 have ever publicly sold before. So this will be the first one that we see that is selling. Now, you guys know I'm a big collector of Jordan autos. I own one of his 1986 Fleer, auto cards, lower grade. The $2 million price that this one is currently going for surprised me a little bit. Seems pretty hefty. Teapot, what was your reaction? Is $2 million plus an overpay for this card, or does this make sense? By the way, I should mention it's on Jupiter auctions. I guess that's how you say it.
Jupiter.
It's an auction website that is more of, I guess, a pop culture site that's kind of recently got into the sports stuff.
I guess.
Pharrell Williams site. So that's where it is. If anyone's looking to go place a last minute bid on it for like $3 million to take this over the top, that's where it is.
Head over to Jupiter.
There you go. Teapot, your reaction.
I don't call any high-end card, especially one that's never hit the public market, an overpay at this point. I just, somebody put a bid on it, so it's worth that. To that person, it's worth that, which is now the new comp and the new market value, unless we see another bid come in. And I don't have a lot else to say about it. Like, when you're in this space of the highest of high-end type stuff, you just go into a different stratosphere where people with money say, I've got to have that card, or maybe even just, make a bid. Maybe he was all amped up on Red Bull too, and, put in a bid like that guy who won the Gretzky case. But doesn't surprise me. Seems high. We saw the PSA 10 Jordan base cards go crazy, a few years ago, up to $750,000. This one's got the auto, and it's the first one to market like it. So, I mean, congrats to the seller, congrats to the buyer, I guess.
Your thoughts, Doug?
This is the card I talked about last week. We were talking about record sales, and I said that there was one we hadn't even talked about yet because the news had just broken, and it was this card. I've got some questions about it. I definitely feel like it's an overpay, considering that this isn't a one-of-one example. There are at least 5 others just like this one. Then there's a handful that are even better than this one. I've got some questions about an auction that no one has ever heard of before, an auction site. No one has ever heard of this auction site before until now. Magically setting the record for a Fleer Jordan. This is an all-time high as it stands for a Fleer Jordan. And maybe some market manipulation potential with one person owning a lot of these examples that we're talking about right now. or it's just trying to get the name out for a brand new auction site that no one's ever heard of and is very new. This is a bit of a marketing potential, right? I'm not accusing anyone of anything here. This just seems awfully odd to me. That a card that's never come to auction before does so and just happens to set a record for Fleer Jordan on an auction site no one's ever heard of. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think your concerns are warranted. From what I understand, the guy who has the 6 10-10s has offered them to people at a $10 million buy price.
Wow.
From what I understand, no one's taken him up on that. That's what he wants for those 6 copies.
For all 6?
No,
for
each.
one.
He wants $10 million per copy, from what I understand. So, and I believe he also owns this 910. So, I mean, it would make sense that if he's auctioning the 910, he's trying to set a price point, and then maybe he's going to like auction a 1010 right after it, or use it to then privately sell 1010s on the back of this. So, it feels a little weird to me. I'll be honest. The $2 million value feels absolutely insane to me. And I'm in this market, and look, I'm thrilled by it, because I've got a whole bunch of signed Jordan stuff. So if this holds up and people are actually going to use that as a comp, it certainly made my stuff more valuable.
So let's say I create a brand new auction site and I want you to put your best card on my auction site. What do I have to offer you to get you not to go to all these other established
Sure, guarantee
sites?
me a certain big sale
Guarantee
price.
$2 million,
Yeah,
maybe?
guarantee me $2 million. There you go. Boom. Done. Right? And then it sets a comp. Yeah, it's $2 million just feels like a lot for this, especially since there are 4 others of that, and there are 6 higher. And by the way, Jordan signed 10 for this guy who owns most of these. Yeah. Who's to say he's not going to sign another 10 5 years from now when he loses another golf bet? Yeah. Right?
Who knows?
So I would not pay $2 million for that. By the way, his sticker 910 sold for 170,000 or something, I think it was, several months ago. It was a pop 1 0 higher. Pop 1 0 higher, and it did 100-something thousand, and now you got this thing doing $2 million when it's a pop 5 6 higher.
Yeah.
It's not the sticker. Granted, it's a more important card, but it ain't 10x more plus with all this going on. So
I think anybody who's in cards would look at this and just like it means nothing to them. Do you know what I mean? Like you said this is your favorite vintage on card autos.
Sure, love it.
Iconic on card autos. So anybody who knows things, they're not going to look at this sale and then let it dictate their action going forward. But it could convince some athlete, celebrity, musician who's not into cards to go, yo man, this one just got $2 million and I've got this one, let's work out a deal. Oh, cool. I don't know. Like maybe they don't even think twice about it either. Maybe that just goes into their vault or whatever of collectibles. But so I agree with what Doug said, and there is some funkiness to this for sure.
A little unusual. Anyway, okay, we'll see where it goes. Hopefully it does set a new high mark, and people are going to go after this comp, because I would love that. My golden copy is even more beautiful. So there you go. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget, 20% off the Arena Club Slab Packs, promo code SCI20. Download the Arena Club app, and we will see you soon with our next episode. Take care, everybody.